Okay. Among all other things going on in the country amid the pandemic, one of the most devastating impact of COVID is seen in the recent loss of jobs. Today's generation, though, doesn't just want a survival job. What they want is a job they can find a meaning in, a job they can be passionate about. They want to become civil servants, actors, sports stars, entrepreneurs. But careers like these are highly unstructured, and not always there is a clear cut path out there. So, today, to help us deep dive in one of the most coveted careers of civil services, we welcome Mr. P. Narahari IAS, who is Commissioner, Food Safety and Controller, Food and Drug Administration, Government of Madhya Pradesh. To say a few things about Mr. Narahari, he led the initiative to make Indore one of the most cleanest cities in India. He has written several books, one of them being The Making of Ladli Lakshmi Yojana. This book concerns the Ladli Lakshmi Yojana, an initiative of Government of Madhya Pradesh planned by Mr. Narhari, which later inspired Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Yojana. He also wrote the song Ho Halla, which was sung by Shan. So, welcome, sir. I would first start.
Yeah, good morning, Manish. How are you doing? Thank you so much for the introduction.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for taking out the time today to talk to us.
Yeah, sure. It's been pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, I would jump straight into the conversation, and I would start with asking you that what were your early life aspirations like? Did you always want to become a civil servant? And what inspired you? Was there anybody who you look up to as an idol at that time?
Absolutely. Since childhood, I always dreamt to be getting into the Indian Administrative Services, and I'm lucky to have not only dreamt of it but also actually made it to the civil services. There have been I was a good student throughout my school life and subsequently as well. And especially in the formative years of school life, that is when we actually start thinking as to which career we should opt when we actually grow up, and in which career we want to actually make a name or really get into.
Yeah.
So definitely I was always motivated, inspired to get into civil services. But one incident specifically I would mention that was responsible for me to continuously remain motivated and then get into civil services. So I was the class leader and school leader of my school, and in class 10th, there was this IAS officer by name Banwarlal, who was the collector of Karimnagar district that I belonged to. He started a program called Akshara Ujjwala, which was an adult literacy program. Akshara Ujjwala enabled all those people who never went to school, who never studied, who never knew how to write the alphabets, to read and write. So my school adopted a nearby village to educate, to make the elderly people in that particular village literate. So as I was class leader and school leader, so it was my responsibility to take all my classmates after the school hours to that particular village, and we used to go house to house and pick up all the elderly people who never went to school and bring them to the community hall, and then make them teach them read and write.
Right.
So this went on for about an year. And as a part of this Akshara Ujjwala program, all my classmates, we all really, in order to impress upon these elderly people, because they are like kids, so you need to actually make them motivated to learn. So we used all kinds of tactics, dance, drama, doing many things to make them enjoy learning this activity. So during this entire 1 year of time when we actually did this work, I really felt how great is this job of civil services. You are this enables to give it gives you so much of power, and it enables you to actually develop such social sector schemes, and it is really enhancing or empowering people through this particular these kind of programs. So I thought I'll also become an IAS officer when I grow up, and I'll also bring in such good initiatives which will be really useful for the society and will enable for the overall development of the society. So that particular program really made me to work towards my goal of joining the civil services. And during my entire engineering while I was in Hyderabad, my focus was, apart from my engineering studies, I also concentrated on civil services. And that is the reason I could make it to the civil services. I would say I was lucky to actually get into the civil services.
That is quite modest of you, sir. And I think this story is really inspiring. I'm sure it will inspire the people who are preparing even now. The context is even relevant even now, the kind of effort. So my next question is that now that you have spent so much of time in the services, what do you do on a daily basis to be at health? Like, what is your routine like, and how is it different from the routine which was there before you entered services?
Oh, there's a lot of difference. Before entering civil services, I was more of a student, and then I used to work as scientist with Department of Science and Technology. Now, after joining civil services, a typical day begins at least as of now, because I'm at the state government level, and I'm in the higher administrative positions. So typically now, actually, I reach my office by about 10 o'clock. So before reaching my office in the morning, I spend an hour of time on walking, jogging, yoga, meditation. That is my daily routine in the morning. At least an hour I spend on that. And I prepare for the day and for the day that I'm going to how to enjoy the day while in the job, the day's work, as well as once I reach home. So my whole concentration in the morning is on my own personality development,
Right.
and then looking forward for a fruitful day. So once I reach office, then I'm taking care of my official engagements. And typically, I try to wind up by about 7 o'clock also in the evening, and I reach home. And once I reach home, then again I spend about half an hour or 45 minutes again on physical exercises and yoga, meditation, and then I spend some time listening to some music or other things. Uh, I am a I read a lot of biographies, autobiographies. That is one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
So then I'm also an avid film watcher, actually. So along with my
It's very
kids and family members, typically from about 9 o'clock in the night after dinner. So we try to watch for an hour or 1.5 hours every day. Now it's Euro Cup that's going on, so I try to. I love sports as well, so
right.
either I'm watching some films or I'm watching sports about 1.5 hours in the night. So that's how typically my day goes like.
Right. So that is quite a diverse interest profile of yours, and of course, a very hectic schedule at work. So I really wanted to ask this: that to a layman, if you had to explain that what are the right reasons to enter the services, since it is so glamorized, right, by the media, by newspapers, uh, people enter for different reasons, and everything might be correct. But I would like to hear your opinion that what are the good reasons to come in the services?
See, the most important trait one should possess, I always say, is that you should have this passion to actually do service. this civil services is all about. It gives you an immense opportunity to serve the society, and civil services also gives this immense possibility to interact with people, listen to them, empathize with them, and try to resolve their issues. So one should have that inclination to actually listen to people. If you are a good listener, and if you are empathizing with the problems of people, citizens, and if you are able to, if you are having that patience to resolve their issues, this is the best service. If you are only looking at the glamour part of the service and wanting to join, maybe you'll have a lot of disappointment, because you'll have to face people, public representatives, an immense work, the kind of work, the kind of number of hours you actually put in to get into civil services. Once you join the civil services, again, you are going to see so many hours of work that you'll have to put into. So it's not just about the paraphernalia or the kind of perks that you are looking at it. It's more about the service that is at stake. So my request to anybody who's willing to join civil services is, you must know the whole the kind of job profile, the kind of work that it uh, uh, that one has to do, and the kind of amount of time and energy that you'll have to spend in order
Right.
to ensure that you actually deliver.
Right.
Apart from that, there is a lot of policy making we do. We do a lot of policy making and a lot of implementation of government policies and programs. So one has to spend uh, n number of hours in order to understand the subject at hand. And then in implementation part, you have to really spend a lot of time trying to ensure that uh, what are the issues which are plaguing the system,
Right.
why certain programs are not actually becoming successful, how to better the program, how to implement them in a better way. So the entire job profile, along with power comes responsibility. This is the typical
Right.
the amount of responsibilities that you will be actually holding is much uh, larger, higher than
Right.
the kind of power or paraphernalia that we actually see from outside.
That's fair. That's very fair. So, sir, touching a few aspects of your active civil servicing journey, and speaking about a few record in your name, you are one of the rare professional officers to be credited as publicity advisor to three successive governments of three different parties. Like, how did you manage to do that?
See, in the government offices, it's professionalism, I would say, first and foremost. Governments always look at officers who are highly professional in their approach.
Yeah.
So if you are really a good professional office kind of an officer, so all governments want to actually put you at the best possible positions,
Mhm.
take work out of you, and you will be useful to the system. So we should ensure that our profile in the civil services is also not only in civil services, any to such to an extent in any profession. If you are a thorough professional and you build your career and your profile in such a way that
Mhm.
you are useful to the system, you are absolute professional in your approach, you will be the most sought after guy. I would say that is the answer to your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering that. You're one of the pioneers of using digital media for resolving public issues. Like, would you like to highlight some of the major advantages you have observed as a result? And is there any particular feature you would want the general public to be aware of?
See, I belong to one of those new generation civil servants where we have civil servants like me traveled along with the social media that evolved
Right.
in the recent times. So I would say myself and the social media, we grew up together uh,
Yeah.
in the in the society and systems. We actually being used in 2014 when I was 2012 when I was collector Gwalior district. Now it was a bit of a craze. Facebook was a bit of a craze. So I also I mean, I also started my own profile on the Facebook. Then I realized that why can't I be when everybody or the citizenry is actually on the Facebook or social media? Why can't I be as a collector be accessible to the common man to enable them to express their views, their problems, their issues, their suggestions? So that is when actually in 2012 when I started my own Facebook page, I opened it up to the public, and I got a very good response out of that, and I continue to do the same thing. And one of the biggest successes of actually being accessible to the common man is that you get such immense ideas from the public. They give you such very good feedback about what is happening, about policies, programs,
Right.
and what kind of activities one should actually take up. Like when I
Right.
was collector Gwalior, people suggested that I should work on curbing female feticide,
Mhm.
discrimination, and I did it very well, and
Right.
we got huge success.
Right.
Creating barrier-free environment in Gwalior, and that another. So it makes public involvement. There is
Right.
citizen engagement, which we nowadays call. So when I shifted to Indore as collector Indore, we use the same social media platforms
Mhm.
for making Indore the cleanest city in the country.
Right. Right.
So citizen engagement, making Indore the smart city, part of the smart city initiatives, citizen engagement. So the best medium of citizen engagement is social media.
Right.
And that is how effectively I've been using. And subsequently, when I became the Commissioner of Public Relations, Publicity Commissioner of Madhya Pradesh,
Mhm.
I developed handles, social media handles for all the departments, for all the collectors, divisional commissioners, all the ministers. The chief
Right.
minister was very much available to the entire public and citizenry.
Yeah.
And that's how governments become very close to the public, and public comes close to the governments.
Right.
And I would say this has been very, very beneficial in many ways.
Also, the speed of the feedback which comes back, right? That is way more efficient and way more quicker. Otherwise, if somebody needs to give some feedback, there are a lot of roadblocks there. So I believe that is also, yeah, a benefit of it.
Absolutely. That's true. Very true.
So, sir, touching a few things about your life outside IAS, like if not an IAS, what would you like to become otherwise? What is something you would want to pursue outside services?
See, before joining IAS, I actually started working as scientist with Department of Science and Technology, Government of
Right,
India.
right.
So I was a good student. I was a university topper. I had a lot of projects that I
Mhm.
did as an engineering student. I was a summer research fellow of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. My my research as an engineering student got published in international journals. So I would have
Nice.
been a very good scientist, I would say. I would have been really, really a good scientist if I had not entered into civil service.
And maybe a lyricist, maybe a book writer, because I have read a lot about you, about writing songs, writing books. So that is quite a diverse skill set in one person to have. But right.
Yeah, it's all these are all byproducts uh, of your passion for work, I would say.
Right. So I think I was going to ask you that how do you spend your weekends, but I assume that weekend is not a weekend in life on IAS. And secondly, you also mentioned that you pursue watching movies and everything after work. So before concluding, I would want to ask you that one piece of advice you would want to give to budding aspirants who want to become civil servants, or anyone in general who is trying to figure out what career should they go in. Any one piece of advice for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I would, as I mentioned, any career that you want to get into, first try to understand 360 degree about that particular career. go and talk to few people who are already working in that particular field.
Right.
Try to understand what kind of job responsibilities does it have, what kind of career progression, what kind of perks does that particular career actually offer you. What are you looking at in your life? Are you looking at earning enough money, on earning enough positions, climbing the ladder of the particular career, reaching the
Right.
topmost position? What exactly are you looking at when you are actually talking about a particular career? So it's better to understand before you get into that career, so that you're not disappointed once you are there, once you have reached
Right.
there. And then the job satisfaction, ultimately life is all about being happy in what you're doing. So it's better to enter into a service which gives you ultimate satisfaction and happiness. So try to reach out and try to understand about the career that you want to be into. Don't
Right.
get into the cave before you know what is there inside it.
Right.
So that is what is my advice, and you'll be really, really happy once you have reached there, that the kind of career you actually wanted to get into. And once you reach there, you will be really happy, and your life will become very, very simple,
Right.
and you will be contributing immensely to the kind of service or the career that you have chosen.
Right. Okay, sir. With that, I would like to conclude this conversation. Thank you so much for supporting us in this initiative and talking to us in this busy schedule of yours. Again, thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manish. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bye bye.